In today's landing page review, we're looking at a company called Reflect. Reflect is a test automation company. They do dev tools, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned here for a dev tools company about how to do design and how to do copywriting in a way that presents your product as best as possible. So yeah, let's dive right into it. Okay, so we're here in the Reflect landing page. And if you've seen the last video about Black Ore, they had some outdated elements. This is taking them for a ride, meaning they have super outdated design elements like these kind of text shadows or glows, drop shadow on everything, on the buttons, on the video. That's not a good look, in my opinion. Another interesting thing is this huge 3D kind of grid. That's very confusing because it's like so detailed. My eyes are like getting pulled in all directions. It's hard for me to focus on this thing here. It is good in general to have what we call power lines, so lines that draw the attention to the right elements. So this is happening here, but like way too much, so that's hard to concentrate. This heading here is pretty generic, like revolutionize your test automation with generative AI. That's kind of vague, so that's not a good way to present your value proposition. You need to be more specific to lay out the benefits or the capabilities that you're creating. But the more relevant thing here is look how squeezed or how crammed this information is between this nav bar and this video. There's not a lot of space. It's hard to concentrate with everything being so packed together. So just spread out the information. That's very important. Also, this is a very bad practice, having these two nav bars instead of the same one coming down with us as we scroll. This is good that they're not auto-playing the video like some websites do, so I can choose if I want to look at it or not. And it does look pretty interesting. Like there's a lot of stuff happening in the thumbnail, so it does make me want to click it, especially if I'm interested in what they're selling. Some logos, that's okay. These feature sections, they're pretty standard, but there is a lot of text. And on one hand, nobody's going to read that. That's like the usual thing that happens. Nobody reads the paragraphs on the website. But when they are too long, even if I don't read them, it does make me get tired. So I have to decide all the time, should I read that or not? So it's really a better idea to put shorter paragraphs, so to give people a chance to read them if they're interested. So this is too much text. The graphics are pretty good. They're pretty like informative, but not like yelling at me, so I can ignore them if I want. Here, this one's animated, so that's good too. Here, check this out. Like, look at all these texts. Some of them are buttons, but still, would you ever read that from top to bottom? No way. Same goes for this. So look at how much text is in front of me right now. Let's do like a short exercise. I'll try to read that. So functional testers build regression tests significantly faster than even the most seasoned automation engineer with no setup required. Reflect's AI engine does the heavy lift. Like, do you notice how like strained that is? How hard it is for me? So it's the same for your customers and the people who visit your website. It's impossible to read so much, even if you're super interested. So just don't tire them. Give them just the gist of it, just like the really important summary of points. That's really important when you're creating your website. This section right here, this is something that's actually pretty popular, like the concept of these grid of elements, each with their own visual. It's called a bento grid. That's something that's very trendy right now, and I don't like it. I think it's a bad idea. And the reason is that when we're presented with this grid, we don't know what to choose from. We don't know what to look at, what's more important, what's relevant for us. So as the visitor, we have to make a lot of choices that we don't know how to make. So it's much better to present information sequentially with a clear hierarchy of importance. So this is too much for me. It's hard to take in. I'm not a big fan of how they're presenting this section. Okay, so the next section is actually great. So they have a very clear benefit here in the heading. This fits into your existing workflow. They have these logos that are very well known. So as a customer, this is very important for me when I'm integrating new software. I know that it's compatible with what I'm doing today. And here I see everything that I might be using. So great section. Also notice the short paragraph, 3 lines, that's the maximum. So good job on this one. Okay, so we've reached the end of the page and we have this call to action section. That's the right place for it, for the people who've finished scrolling and now they might be ready to take action. So that's great. But check out 2 very big problems here. One, this heading is super small. It looks like just regular text or some very small card heading. This should be like the money time. Like this is the time to catch the people that have reached the end of the page. They're interested enough to scroll all the way to the end. Now they might be ready for the next step and you're not really talking to them. You're just like putting this little note here, get started with Reflect today. It should be huge, like get started now. So that's one thing. Another thing is look how little margin they have around this section. So for example, check this out. Check how much margin you have around this information and how prominent it looks, how important it looks, how easier it is to look at compared to this. So spacing, margins, that's very, very important in design. You can have the ugliest design, but if it's spaced out enough, people can pay attention to it and read it and feel like it's important. So this is the opposite. There's no space, so it feels unimportant. It feels uninteresting and hard to read. So that's a very bad way to do a call to action section. So I hope you've learned something today. If there's any other websites you'd like us to review, let me know in the comments and see you on the next one. Bye.